time. It's our time, my friends. Time for millions of maturepreneurs, 55 plus, who are hashtag not done by a long shot, to revolutionize how we lead, do business, and innovate our world. I'm your host, Jannette Anderson, and welcome to my conversations with fascinating people who would rather inspire than retire. Let me ask you something. Are you actually living your life? Or are you just really good at maintaining it? Because those are not the same thing, my friend. Most people don't choose their life, they inherit it. They follow the script, they get the job, the career, they build that, they are responsible, they do what makes sense and what's expected. And one day they wake up and think, how did I get here? Not because there's anything wrong with it, but because nothing feels chosen. There's a term for that in psychology. It's called default mode living. We drift into decisions based on habit, environment, and expectations, not intention. And here's the kicker. According to the research out of Cornell, we make 35,000 decisions a day, and the vast majority of them are on automatic. So if you're not being intentional, you are by definition living by default. And the hardest part about intentional living, it's not really getting the clarity. It's not about strategy. It's not even the courage to do that. It's disruption. Because the moment you decide to live intentionally, you're going to disappoint someone. Maybe your family, maybe your colleagues, maybe the version of you that spent decades being the reliable one, the responsible one, the one who went along to get along. And let's be honest, that's uncomfortable. So what do most people do? They stay in the drift. Not because they don't want more, but because they don't want to disrupt what is. But here's the truth. A life that isn't chosen eventually feels like a life that's been assigned, or worse yet, missed. And that quiet dissatisfaction, sometimes loud dissatisfaction, that's not something to ignore. That's your signal. So how do you break out of it? You don't overhaul your entire life overnight. You start by interrupting the pattern, one decision at a time. Ask yourself, is this aligned with who I am now? Or is it just what I've always done? Or who I've always been? If the answer is just, it's always been this way, then that's your moment. Your moment to say, I choose intentional living. Not in some big dramatic reinvention, but in a small, honest choice in this moment. Because you don't drift into a meaningful life, you decide into one. And this is the conversation I'm having today with Connie Cotter on the Maturepreneur Podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Maturepreneur Podcast. I am your hostess with the mostest, Jannette Anderson, and today I have with me the excited and very enthusiastic Connie Cotter, who's joining us from, where are you right now?
Just outside of Lafayette, Louisiana.
Okay, you can hear Louisiana in the accent there, but that's not really the ocean behind you, right?
No, I live inland away from the
I was gonna say, because
hurricanes.
Lafayette landlocked last time I looked. So, all right. So welcome, Connie. And folks, today we're going to have a fascinating conversation around starting over without starting from scratch, which I know can be what people think when they think, oh, reinvention, or I have to start over, or I'm going to launch a business now. Really? Oh my God, I'm starting from bare essentials. You're not. You're starting from a huge foundation. So we're going to be talking about that and how to capitalize on it and how to gain clarity when you're stuck, how to handle overwhelm, and how to create an intentional life that will carry you through that noise that it can sometimes happen when we are making transitions and feeling overwhelmed, so that you can go beyond good to a really great life. So I think it's
Yes.
a great conversation. I'm glad you're here, Connie. I'm going to tell you the official word on her. Then we're going to find out the details behind the scenes of the real her. So, Connie is a certified high performance coach with 23 plus years in IT training and leadership. She helps professionals break free from overwhelm and step boldly into their next chapter. Through Beyond the Good Life, she guides people to move beyond good enough and live with purpose, clarity, and courage. All right, so awesome. That sounds interesting and fun. We'll find out more about your journey, but tell me something about you that would surprise your friends.
Oh, that would surprise my friends. Well, this wouldn't surprise my friends. It would surprise strangers.
Okay, now I'll
Um, yeah, that I travel with Baby Yoda. He's like my favorite. He's out in the other room, but I have him all over my desk. I have him on my license plate. He's in my car. So yeah, he travels with me. We traveled during COVID. We both wore masks for safety.
Okay, so is he like your spirit guide or your security animal or what?
He just makes me happy.
That's
I've
adorable.
had people ask, is this for your child? Is this for your grandchild? And I'm like, no, he's
Yeah.
just for me. He makes me happy. And I make other people happy. Either they're looking at me as like, why is she carrying that? Or it's like, oh, there's Easy, so cute.
Yeah.
And the kids, of course, love him too. So it's just a fun way to give people a little levity during their travel days.
I love it. When I traveled through Central and South America for 7 months by myself, I had this little tiny gnome that was about 3 inches tall, little ceramic gnome, and I called him Jerome, my travel gnome. And whenever I was taking pictures, I would have him on my shoulder, or I'd have him in the hammock beside me, or have him tucked in my cleavage, or whatever and he would travel with me and be, having eating ceviche and having all of these adventures with me as we traveled. And my favorite one is him sitting on my shoulder. We're at Pacaya, which is a mountain that has a live volcano, and there's lava flowing behind us. And he's kind of looking behind me, and I said he was a little worried that I might drop him into a crevice, but anyway, it's fun to travel with
Love it.
friends. I
It
like it.
is. I
Yeah.
love it.
All right, so let's talk a bit about your journey because
Sure.
both into supporting people with their reinvention journey and redefining what now what. So tell us about
Mhm.
your crucible moment. When was the moment you knew you weren't done?
Well, so what you'd mentioned my experience in IT, and I loved that career. I worked primarily as a consultant or as a lead business analyst trainer, helping people with their business processes. And I would incorporate fun. We would have Play-Doh and toys and candy in our different workshops because life is too short to not have fun. And one of my corporate positions, the company was acquired. And I was like, oh, okay. And I kind of read the writing on the wall, but nobody said it directly that my role was going to be outsourced or removed. And so I started looking for a job,
Mm,
which I had not done before. So
mm,
in 28 years, I obviously graduated from college, my first one, but then it was like, hey, Connie, we got a role over here. You want to come over to our organization? Sure. And so I drifted, and then we got a promotion. Cool. We want you on this project. Sweet. And I literally was drifting from
mhm,
opportunity to opportunity. And then it was just like, oh, crap.
mhm,
I I don't know what I do. I don't know what made me successful. And kind of stumbled for a while and hired a career coach and stumbled actually again, literally into a high performance group coaching session that was free. And so I was on the call and the coach was asking questions that like just opened up my mind to possibilities. So between the career coach having me describe what my ideal work environment was, what
mm,
mattered to me, not what mattered to the organization, but what mattered to me, and then this certified high performance coach asking me questions about relationships, energy, finance, like my whole life. It was just like, wow. And I signed up and I was a client, still am a client. And I'm like, I have to do this. And so if you'd have said 8 years ago, Connie, you're going to be a coach guiding people through like building their best life, I'm like, no, but here I am, and I absolutely love it.
Okay, so you got the support that you needed, and then you decided to become that support for other people in that
Yes,
stage.
100%. Yeah.
So what was the hardest part for you of making that transition of going from career or employee to entrepreneur?
It was the hardest part and the most exciting part. So at the same time, was realizing that I make all the decisions and I am 100% responsible for the actions, the decisions, or the inactions that take place in my business. And I found it a little freeing as well, because as I was going through this journey of becoming a coach and starting to connect with what's inside of me, I realized that, a corporate role wasn't a safety space. There
Mhm.
was a lot of decisions and things outside of my control. And within the life that we live, there still are things that are outside of our control. However, once we can tap into and know who we are outside of all the roles, whether you're parent, vice president, teacher, whatever, and become who Connie is or who my client is, then it's like that locus of control is super exciting and really fun.
Yeah, yeah. So at first it's about responsibility, and then it becomes accountability, and then it becomes a locus of control where we're back
Yes.
in the driver's seat of our life. And yeah, that's a really great way to kind of detail that journey, because some people, the accountability, it's all me, can be
Hmm.
really daunting and seem like a negative, a detraction. The responsibility and, oh my God, the risk, and what if I make the wrong decisions, and so forth and so on. Uh, and then when we make that leap into accountability of like, I am not my results, and I am accountable for my results, my actions, my behaviors, what
Yeah,
I do, not necessarily the results. Then it can be way more fun, because you're right. Then we can be the chooser, instead of the one that has to carry out other people's desires, wishes, dreams, and make them happen. So what
100%.
what was the biggest tool or mindset shift or habit that was really important to you in making that transition from employee to entrepreneur?
I think the the biggest tool that I gained and that I brought with me is that I am the designer of my life and the designer of my days. And as you just had mentioned, the outcome is going to be what it is. However, I get to design how I show up. And I've, learned and I teach and I coach on different tools. Like I can show into up to an opportunity with excitement and joy and have no clue what I'm doing, or I can have no clue what I'm doing and be scared and small and timid. And those are my choices. And by designing, like you said before, like we're starting over, we've got so much experience. And we're not starting from scratch. We're not going to throw everything that we've learned um, out the window. Just a little fun thing. When I turned 50, I decided I was going to start over as like, so now I'm 8. So if you think about an 8-year-old, but with 58 years of experience, I'm kind of testing the boundaries a little bit, pushing things a little, trying to be a rebel, but still a little uncertain.
Mhm.
And that's exactly where I am. And it's awesome.
I I think that's a really great way to approach that. So, did you ever have a moment where you thought, okay, I'm going to go back and get a job? Or was it just, nope, I'm done with working for other people. It's time to work for myself now? Was it clear cut, or was it hard?
So it was clear cut that this is what I meant to do.
Okay.
When I was going through my certification to become the certified high performance coach, on day 3, it like just came in and I really felt it in my soul. This is what I am meant to do. So rather than just improving business processes, I get to help people improve their whole lives, which is way better. It's the whole thing. And um yeah, the in the back of my head, I'm like, I could, when the revenue doesn't come in some months, it's a little challenging. And yet I'm in this for the long haul. Like I tasted it. This is what I want to do, and I don't want to compromise on the gifts and the graces that God has given me.
Uh, that's a great line. Say it again. I don't want to
I
compromise.
I don't want to compromise on the gifts and graces that God has given me, which I truly, truly believe this is his calling.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Like that. Okay.
Thank you.
So what have you built? What is your business? And how do you help people or serve people?
Certainly. So I've labeled myself as the faith forward, joy driven transformation coach. Certified high performance coach is my title and my certification. High performance by my training means long term success without compromising wellness and relationships. But sometimes that doesn't necessarily resonate with people. And life coaching can be very broad. And faith forward to incorporate my belief in God. I coach all people. You don't have to believe in God, but I encourage people to consider that there's something larger than ourselves in this world. And joy driven, that's what I want people to live from, not from purpose and stress or society says you should do.
Mhm.
And it's about transformation. We are humans meant to evolve.
Mm.
And I want people to understand that transformation is a process. It doesn't happen overnight. I mean, if you think back to when we were growing up, when you were a baby and you started crawling and you wanted to walk,
Mhm.
how many times did we try? If we had stopped, we'd all be crawling around, which isn't going to happen. So you take the steps and you try something. And if it doesn't work, you evaluate, is this what I want to be doing? Okay, let's try a different way, or I'm going to keep doing it. And and there's no big, small, right or wrong. The thing that I want and that I bring to the coaching perspective that I'm not sure if other coaches do is that I am a guide. I'm a cheerleader. I'm going to push a little bit. I 100% do not have the answers. My client has the answers. And so I provide this space of calm, of energy, because I can get really excited about things to connect with them, connect what's inside. And sometimes I think we get just a little disconnected. And so we want to reconnect it. And I'm just going to help them uncover, peel back the onion, whichever metaphor you want to use.
Yeah.
And so define your purpose in this stage or this next chapter of your life.
And so you mentioned coaching. Do
Yeah.
you do one coaching? Do you have programs? How do you support that way?
Oh, yes. Thank you for calling me back. I got a little rambly there for a minute.
Okay.
Yes, so I have one-on-one coaching. My signature program is the Joy-Filled Life Blueprint. Sorry. Again, reconnect with the joy. It's a program. It's not, so what are your goals? How much progress have you made? Oh, that's good. What are you going to do next week? It's really a curriculum that covers clarity, energy, productivity, influence, persuasion, like all these things, these aspects of our lives. And that's one-on-one. And
Mhm.
then I also have group coaching in a small cohort. Same the same curriculum, however, within a small group, because we can all learn from each other's experiences. And then I also have a monthly group coaching, similar curriculum, but not as participatory. So the process works for everybody. I'm primarily focusing on individuals in transition, the empty nesters. So the kids are leaving, you're always going to be a parent, but
Mhm.
what are you going to do now? Or career transitions. This isn't working for me. I'm functioning, but I'm not fulfilled. I've just been downsized. What do I do next? And I think that's what's so cool about your what you do with your audience is because that's is that time, redesign, be creative. Who
Yes.
knows what you're going to come up with? It's so exciting.
Yes. Okay, so lots of people who are in this stage of the, okay, what's next or now what, might feel overwhelmed or kind of directionless or not know what the opportunities are or feel done or like they should not move forward. There's lots of stuff that goes on. So
Hmm.
where do you recommend that they start when they're seeking clarity?
Excellent. Awesome. Awesome question. And just to reiterate, because it either is a blank slate,
Mhm.
like, okay, you say I can do anything I want. And people are like, find a hobby, find a group, but that's maybe what's worked for them. Or there's so many options. How do I choose? And I have a three question clarity reset that I like to walk people through. And the first question when you're seeking clarity is, what have you been pretending is fine?
Mm.
Or
Mhm.
what have you been trying to portray to the world when you're not internally connected?
Mhm.
And sometimes just sitting with that, what have I been pretending?
Mhm.
And then the follow-up question is actually, what do I need right now? Is it more responsibility if I have a parent and the children have left, they're off at college, now you've got all these days because you had your day so scheduled. Is it responsibility? Is it going somewhere? And then we can start coming up with ideas. And then the third is that next right one step that
Mm.
I can do in 15 minutes. I have coined the acronym DSCAPE, not escape. We don't want to escape, but we DSCAPE, which is daily, small, consistent actions prove effective.
Uh,
And so I'm not the big bang person, like you got to jump in and do all the things.
mhm.
We take the small steps consistently, daily, and then we get to where we want to go, or we adjust and we take the alternate path.
Yes. So that's a great acronym, DSCAPE. So say what it means again. Daily.
Daily,
Mhm.
small, consistent actions prove effective.
Yes, great. Okay, so write that down, remember that, and put it on your fridge to remind you that these small steps do make a difference. All right, so what does intentional living mean to you? And how does that transform people's lives?
Going back to the story I shared at the beginning of drifting, I envision a leaf on a little brook and it kind of floats along and then it gets stuck on a branch for a while until it gets really fast and then it spits out again and goes whirling. It could be a peaceful journey or it could be the really rapid thing. Is that really how we want to live our lives?
Mhm.
I did it for a while and it worked, but it got a little tiring. So, intentional living is again being that creator or designer of our days. Now,
Mhm.
if individuals are still working at a 9 to 5 job or working for someone else, some of your day may be already taken.
Mhm.
But going back to intentionally, how am I going to show up? How am I going to talk to people? How am I going to drive to work? Am I just focused and I'm, gripping that steering wheel and everybody that cuts me off? Or I'm going to just enjoy my ride. I'm going to look at the scenery. Somebody cuts me off. I'm like, just a little, I hope that they get to their place safely
Mhm.
without hurting anybody, thinking outside of myself. And those small, consistent actions, again, it's those little things. And over time, then pretty soon, your days are awesome because you've decided to bring awesomeness, play, wonder, joy into your life.
Mhm.
And I will admit I was one of those people. I'm like, really? These people who are full of joy all the time? Yeah, I am one of those people now. So it can happen.
Okay, well, and a lot of that is what is that intention? How do we intend to live? We get to choose who we want to be. And,
Yes.
people think, well, no, it's just how I am. No, it's based on the stories we tell ourselves and what we focus on and who we choose consciously to be. And then finding
Yes.
a way, a structure to support that and live into it. Speaking of which, so what other tips or tools do you have for people to support them in taking those first steps, making those first courageous, steps in the direction of their dream?
Some excellent question. So the first thing and I use this myself when I get into an overwhelmed space, and it's usually because I have too many things going on in my head or too many things coming at me, and I'm like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to do right now. I'm just crazy. I'm going to share another one. It's my 3, 2, 1 reset, and it brings me back to the current moment. So for three, identify three things that you see. So
Mhm.
look around and what do you see? And then identify two things that you hear. I have a cuckoo clock that I love. I can hear the ticking. I have the battery up at tick, tick, tick clock, which is really annoying that I've learned to block out of my memory. But when I pause, I can hear it, or I can hear a bird or whatever. And then the third thing is one thing that you can feel. So not an emotion or a sensation like that, but what do you feel like feet on the grass, bare feet on a carpet versus a tile floor? And then take a few minutes and really look, listen, or feel that thing. And what that does is it brings you into the very current present moment and it calms everything down. So then when you start looking at all these things that you want to do, you can ask yourself, what is the next right action that I should be taking? And something that you can do in 15 minutes. You don't have to do all the actions, you do the one. And I hear a lot from my clients, well, I'm not motivated. I'm waiting to be motivated to do XYZ. And the sad truth is that motivation isn't going to just show up. Motivation comes from taking action. And the same thing with clarity. Clarity comes by taking an action, doing something, because then you learn. You've put yourself in a different space. You can physically move or writing something down or listening to something. The clarity starts to happen. And that builds momentum, which
Mhm.
then our brain gets really happy. And then the motivation comes.
Mhm.
So it's the movement, building the momentum, which leads to the motivation and then into the clarity.
Yes, yes. Action begets clarity. Clarity does not always beget action. I
No.
couldn't agree more. And I like your technique for becoming present in the moment because we really can't create if we're not present. And
Hmm.
we're often very distracted and doing, 12 things at once, or think we are. We're not really, but
That's
and
true.
and so presence precedes being able to be intentional because we can't
Yes,
be choosing where we're going if we're not actually here yet. If we haven't arrived, we can't then take off. So I think those
exactly.
are some really practical and valuable tips for tuning in to be able to listen more to who we are and what we want, which is often
Hmm.
a very difficult part of this process. Many people have spent their lives doing, for other people based on their expectations or what's required or, giving to other people. And I often see in my clients and people that I meet, if I say to them, well, what do you want? They either get a panicked look or a blank look because they haven't asked themselves that up until this point. What do you want? And
Right.
that permission. So, what's one tool or tip that you give people to just give them that, for them to give themselves permission to want what they want?
Yeah, I just recently came back from an event in Miami, and so I was on the airplane, and I think many people have heard this, the oxygen mask come down, put it on yourself before assisting others.
Mhm.
And with all of those things coming in at us and those responsibilities, many of us put that on the back burner. And I was one I've had to work through. I thought it was incredibly selfish for me to, I want this time in the morning just to sit with myself. I do my prayers and my journals or I just need to go outside, and I felt guilty. And okay, acknowledge that. And you only have, you and I each only have this one life.
Mm,
And I believe God put value, gave graces to every single person that was, that is, and that will be. And so I think I'm going to flip it a little bit. Yeah, you are being selfish by not sharing and that goodness that you bring. And it blows my mind. This is one of these things of awe. Like all of the people, there's only one Jannette ever,
mhm,
ever that's going to exist. And so it's like, okay, there's only one Connie. That's probably a good thing. Anyway, we're all good. And so graveyards are filled with people who put everybody else first and took their goodness, their light, their joy, their passions to the grave. And the world is going to benefit. Now, you may not be a world like millions of billions of people are going to know you. However, how you show up in the world impacts the world.
mm,
Opening the door at the grocery store, saying good morning to someone. I have no idea the ripple effects of
mhm,
even just waving to someone. Or as I said at the beginning, carrying my baby Yoda through the airport. Maybe someone goes home and says, I wonder what she's doing. Or, wow, if she can do that, maybe I can do something. You just never know. And so, again, the intentional living, how do I show up? I want people to smile. There's so much ugh in this world. And, helping people smile, bring that joy. And so the thing with the coaching, whether it's, I forgot to mention, I do have a Facebook group that's free. That space, give yourself 30 minutes, an hour, and be selfish so that you can release all that awesomeness that's inside.
mhm. Yes, when we put on our own mask, then we can help someone else. And what many people don't know is that you actually only have, I think it's 9 seconds. It's either 6 or 9 seconds when a plane decompresses before you would pass out because of the decompression. So you actually have to ask really fast to take care of yourself in order to be of help to anyone else. Because if you
Wow.
delay in taking care of yourself, then you can't help anyone else. And so, really carrying that analogy to its fullest
That's
extent,
awesome. Yeah.
we need to act quickly and consistently to take care of ourselves so we have the wherewithal and the ability and our cups filled to be able to give to others. And I wrote down your quote about how you show up in the world does impact the world. And we don't ever know how much and in what way. So it's really important to show up and be who we want to be there. So tell people where they can find out more about you, and you've got a gift for people. So tell them about that.
I do. Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate this opportunity. So my website is Connie Cotter, Connie, last name Cotter.com. And that explains my philosophy, the joy-driven life blueprint, the different options that I have. If you take that, conniecotter.com/wonder, WONDER, I have 13 ways to cultivate your sense of wonder. So the 321 reset is in there, and it's other ways to just tap into your current present, start living intentionally, different things that you can do. I have a Facebook group. Currently, it's called Beyond the Good Life, but we're changing the name a little bit. It's still the same format. So it's Beyond the Good Life, soon to be called Empty Nest Epic Next. And I'm on Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook.
Okay. So just go anywhere and find her.
Yes, Connie
Almost.
Cotter. Connie
Yeah.
Cotter's out there.
So by all means, go and download that. But more importantly, apply it, because wonder is a verb. It is not, it's something that gets lived into and expressed. Otherwise, it's just a notion. So
Oh, I
take
love
those tips and those hints and find wonder again. Wonder is such a delightful state. And it leads us back to curiosity, which leads us to possibility, which puts us back into empowered state rather than, I'm done, I'm a victim, I can't, I'm finished. Like,
yeah.
you are so not. Okay, so that's a great resource. You can also go to the vault to find that resource, plus all of the other resources that our other guests have provided. So log into the vault, download all of the resources and tools there that are helpful and relevant to you. But again, please do them. Don't just have them collecting digital dust. There's no point to it. Let them inform you and support you in your next steps. Speaking of next steps, you know that we've created the Clarity Compass workshop. If you've been listening to me at all on this podcast, specifically for those of you who are asking the question, what's next? So similar to Connie, and I'm a big believer in having people on who do the same work or similar work to what I do. There's more than enough, big enough pie in the world for all of us. And some of you will resonate with Connie's style, some will resonate with me, some will not resonate with either of us. So it's fine to have co-opetition. And the Clarity Compass is designed to really support you with clarifying what is your vision for the future? Who do you want to be? What do you want to do? What do you want to have? Because sometimes we just don't know. When someone says, what do you want? We just kind of tip our head and go, I don't know. So we help you figure that out. What is your vision for the next 10, 20, 30, and for some of you, 40 years? Many of you listening to this have a third of your life left. Think about that. And then the second piece of it is, what is your purpose? And your purpose is not what you do, my friends, it's why you do what you do. So what is your purpose? And how are you going to live into that now? Are you going to monetize it? Are you going to make it a nonprofit, a legacy project? What's it going to look like? How are you going to live into it? And what are some of those first steps? Then you want to get into a container that supports you in implementing that life and creating that life. Of course, I have one. Connie has a container for you, but get support and structure for implementing. Because like Connie said, when she started, she made the transition within a container of high performance coaching. And it supported her so much that she went on to become a high performance coach herself to provide that support for people. So create the container that supports your transition and being who you need to be to step into that next phase of your life, that next component of making a difference. All right, Connie, I'm just going to ask you a couple of quick questions. Oh, by the way, for
Okay.
the Clarity Compass workshop, please go to maturepreneur.world. That's mature, as in we're all that in a bag of chips, and preneur, as in entrepreneur.world. Okay, so honey, I got a couple of questions for you here.
Okay.
What's something about reinvention that no one tells you?
Oh, that it doesn't have to be, I'm going to use big
Mm-hmm.
in air quotes.
Mm-hmm.
That's a relative term. It can be ginormous to you, or it can be a little tiny step.
Mm. Yeah, yes. All right. And what's one belief that held you back the longest?
Oh, like you said about the container and the support. One belief that held me back for a very long time was, got this. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
This gesture even is like keeping people away. Once I realized that life is meant to be lived and shared and grown with multiple people from all over, I don't remember the fun word you said, but complex,
No,
complementary,
co-opetition? Co-op.
cooperation. Totally. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. So that was my,
yeah, yeah. Well, and we need support. We for some reason think we have to do it all ourselves, and that's just not true. No one has been successful in a vacuum. No one. And so if you
Correct.
look at anybody you admire, I guarantee you they had support and team and mentors and help along the way. All
Yes.
right. So what would you say to someone who thinks it's too late?
Too late? No, it's never too late. I would say it's too late when you're dead.
Okay.
You
Yep.
got, if you've got, tomorrow is never promised. So we don't know when we're going to be called. And so don't wait until tomorrow. Do that next right action today, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, make a phone call, schedule an appointment,
Right.
go for a walk, whatever it happens to be.
So you used that phrase before, and I just want to check in with you. You said right action. And I know I can hear the perfectionists in the group going, well, how do I know if it's the right action? What if it's the wrong action? Maybe I shouldn't take any action. What do you mean by the next right action?
You do know the next right action if you pause to listen.
Mm,
And if you are a little bit vulnerable, because like we talked about before, clarity doesn't come from sitting and thinking. I'll give you my 3 word think, plan, act. I was a really great thinker,
mm,
love spreadsheets. I could organize everything, but oh, if it's not 100% right, nothing moves forward unless you take an action. So take a minute, figure out what you're wanting to do, and you know the next right action because you take an action. That's the right action. Did it work out the way you wanted? No. Okay, take another one. Did that one work out? Awesome. Take another one. Yes, no, yes, no.
okay.
Any action is the right action.
Okay, like that. All right. And what's one final piece of advice you want to leave folks with?
I want people to remember and realize you are not broken. If you're confused, if you have no idea what's going on, if you have too many things going on because you're so excited, pick the one thing and see where it takes you. Let go of the result. Like if I'm wanting the package to be blue with a gold ribbon and stars on the outside, and it's the best thing ever, and Jannette hands me a paper bag that contains the best thing ever, I'm going to miss out if I'm expecting the
Mhm.
blue package. So I'm going to build my life with intention to get that best thing ever, however it shows up.
Mm. Don't be attached to how it looks. Awesome. All right. It's time, my friends. It's time. Time for you to be the difference that only you can be. And if not now, when? So pitter patter, let's get at her, everybody. Bye for now. Thank you for listening. I'd love it if you left a comment and subscribed. And I encourage you to apply one aha from this interview right away so you can turn your wisdom into wealth and your contribution into positive change. Bye for now.